The night was a vast ocean of darkness, swallowing everything in its inky embrace. I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles turning white as I navigated the desolate highway. The only companions were the rhythmic hum of the engine and the occasional flicker of distant stars. My headlights cut through the black, revealing nothing but an endless stretch of asphalt. I had been driving for hours, the yellow lines blurring into a hypnotic dance. The radio was my sole companion, crackling with static as I searched for a familiar station. But the stations were few and far between, and the crackling seemed to morph into sinister whispers that slithered into the corners of my mind. An uneasy feeling settled over me, a shadowy premonition that danced just beyond the reach of reason. I shook my head, trying to dispel the irrational fear that clawed at the edges of my consciousness. It was just a long drive home, I reassured myself. Just fatigue playing tricks on my mind. The road stretched endlessly, and signs of civilization became increasingly scarce. My full gauge dipped dangerously low, and panic flickered within me like a candle threatened by the wind. I scanned the desolate landscape for any signs of a gas station, my eyes desperate for a flicker of neon in the consuming dark. Just when despair was about to consume me entirely, a dim glow emerged on the horizon. A gas station, a lone outpost in the vast emptiness of the night. Relief surged through me as I pulled into the gravel lot. The air was thick with an unnatural stillness, and the faint buzzing of the flickering fluorescent lights cast eerie shadows on the ground. I parked the car, the engine sputtering to a halt. As I stepped out into the cold night, a chill ran down my spine. The gas station seemed frozen in time, a relic from a forgotten era. The flickering lights barely illuminated the cracked windows, and the silence hung heavy in the air. An old bell jingled as I pushed open the rusty door, and the creak echoed through the empty store. The shelves were sparsely stocked with dusty cans and faded packaging. A lone figure stood behind the counter, obscured by the dim light. "Evening," I called out, my voice swallowed by the silence. The figure turned slowly, revealing a weathered face etched with lines of age and weariness. The eyes, however, gleamed with an unsettling intensity. "Late for a drive, ain't ya?" the old attendant rasped, a crooked smile playing on cracked lips. I nodded, the unease in the pit of my stomach growing. "Gas pumps out back, cash only," he added. I fumbled through my wallet, handing him a few crumpled bills. His bony fingers closed around the money, and his eyes lingered on mine a moment too long. The door creaked shut behind me as I stepped back into the night, the dim glow of the gas pump casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the flickering light. As I filled the tank, I glanced around, a shiver running down my spine. The darkness beyond the gas station seemed impenetrable, a void that swallowed the feeble glow of the lights. The air felt heavy, charged with an otherworldly energy that lingered on the fringes of my perception. The gas pump clicked off, and I hurriedly replaced the nozzle, eager to leave the oppressive stillness behind. I turned towards the car, my footsteps echoing in the empty lot. That's when I heard it, the distant sound of laughter, soft and haunting, carried by the wind. My heart raced as I scanned the darkness. There, at the edge of the flickering light, shadows seemed to coalesce into indistinct forms. Whispers rode on the wind, unintelligible but filled with an ominous weight. I stumbled back towards my car, the laughter growing louder, more insistent. Panic clawed at the edges of my mind as I fumbled with the keys, the darkness seeming to press in from all sides. The laughter morphed into something darker, a chorus of voices that echoed with a bone-chilling resonance. The engine roared to life and I peeled out of the gas station. I drove on, the boundary between reality and nightmare blurring with each passing moment. The voices in the darkness whispered words that I couldn't comprehend, a language of the damned that reverberated in the recesses of my mind. The highway stretched on, a nightmarish labyrinth from which there was no escape. I don't know how long I drove, hours or an eternity. The gas station, the laughter, the faces in the dark, they all melded into a surreal tapestry of horror. Exhaustion weighed on me, threatening to pull me into the abyss of sleep, but I dared not close my eyes, for fear of what lurked in the shadows of my own mind. And then, just when I thought I couldn't endure the nightmare any longer, the first hints of dawn broke on the horizon. The darkness reluctantly receded, retreating to the corners of the world. The spectral figures faded, and the haunting whispers dissolved into the gentle rustle of the wind. I found myself on a deserted stretch of road, the first rays of sunlight painting the landscape in muted hues of pink and gold. The car coasted to a stop, the engine sputtering into silence. I sat there, breathless and shaken, the remnants of the nightmarish journey clinging to my senses. As the first light of dawn banished the shadows, I stepped out of the car, the cold morning air sharp against my skin. The road behind me stretched into oblivion, a testament to the surreal odyssey I had endured. I looked ahead, uncertainty gnawing at the edges of my consciousness. The horror of that night lingered, a chilling reminder that some roads are better left untraveled. The scars of that journey were etched into the fabric of my being, a harrowing tale of a drive at night gone wrong, where the darkness itself whispered the secrets of the abyss.